When a child is born, they're lying there in the crib. The parents look at this baby. They have this feeling of pride. Look at this baby, this beautiful baby. They kvel. And then something happens where that feeling of pride, it's replaced with something else, with something different. Instead of having this feeling of this perfect baby, this perfect gift, all of a sudden, and when we look at the baby, there are no strings attached. Nobody says to their baby, why don't you grow up, learn how to talk, form a personality, we'll go out for coffee, we'll see if we can strike up a conversation, and then I'll decide if I like you. Nobody says that to their baby. You look at your baby and automatically there's a bond. But then after a while, something happens where it's like that positive regard that you once had for this child is no longer unconditional. It becomes very conditional. It becomes behavior-based. It becomes based on performance. What you do. How I feel about you has to do with what you do. Now, those were not the terms and conditions when the child was an infant. You had no problem having positive feelings about your child based on nothing that they've done. In fact, they can do nothing, but just who they are. But then at some point, for some reason, what happens is, instead of having this good feeling and this connection based on who my child is, now it all becomes based on what my child does. Why does that happen? Why do we do that? I understand you. I mean, I get it. Babies can't do anything, so you don't hold them to that standard. I get that. And as they get older, they are capable of doing things. I get that. But that doesn't, follow me here. That explains why you don't have expectations of a baby's behavior, and therefore you don't have that, what we'll call the nachas based on what they do. And with an older child or with an adult, you can actually be proud of their actions. I get that. But it doesn't explain what happened to the pride and the love that you had for the baby that was not based on what they do. You understand what I'm saying? Why did that go away? Why was that replaced with a new type of positive regard that's totally based on behavior? There's two types of pride, and they can both be true at the same time. There's a concept. Hashem looks at us, at his children, and says, Nachas ruch lefanai shamarti v'naser etzeini. I appreciate when I told you to do something, you did what I told you, I have nachas, I feel good about that. Which implies, if you don't do it, then I'm not going to have that nachas. So that's conditional. And that's a real thing. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. But then there's something else, distinct and separate from that, which is a different type of pride, which is unconditional. Where Hashem says about the Jewish people, V'amich kulam tzadikim, they're all tzadikim. Really, Hashem, did you see? I mean, kulam tzadikim? No, kulam tzadikim. Neitzim atayin ma'aseh yodeh lihispar. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands in which to take pride. Lihispar means to take pride. Not just Hashem loves every Jew. Hashem is proud of every Jew. How could he be proud of every Jew? When they'll do something that makes him proud, then he'll be proud. No, that's the Nachas Ruch Lefanai Shamarti v'Naser Etzeini, which is a separate track. What about Ma'aseh Yodeh Lihispar, that Hashem is proud of you not because of what you did, but because of what he did in making you? So Hashem looks at the neshama and says, look at what I did. The neshama doesn't have to do anything to be worthy of that pride. Hashem is automatically proud just because of who you are. Why does that go away? Why are we in tune with it when a child is a baby? And why do we lose it and it gets replaced with the conditional behavioral-based pride as they grow up. You understand? I'm not telling you to pretend that there isn't such a thing as behaviors that are pleasing and behaviors that are displeasing. I think that's a big, hysterical, sometimes I think even willful misunderstanding. People want to pretend that we're saying there's no such thing as desirable behaviors and undesirable behaviors. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's a positive regard that Hashem has for every Jew that is not based on behavior. And that is the exact same positive regard that we're really supposed to have for all of each other, which is the mitzvah of Avas Yisrael, a positive regard we're supposed to have for every neshama that's not based on behavior. That's not based on what they do. It's purely based on who they are, which is unchanging. And really you're obligated to, mitzvah Avas Yisrael, to have that feeling about every single Jew. And all we're saying is, at least could you do it for your kids? At least do it for your kids. Look at your child and see that no matter what they do, that is separate and distinct from who they are. They always were, they always will be.
Hey, this is Shais Taub. You were just watching a clip from this class. If you want to get the full context, the full class, that this clip that you just watched was from, you watch right here. Click right here. Here.